Something I often get asked is, what is the most important creative consideration when you're making a film? Um, is it is it budget? Like you got to have a big budget. The bigger the budget, the better the film, the more distributors will be interested in it upon completion. Is it casting? Um, you got to get good actors, name actors, ideally. Um, is it technical? Like the better the camera, like you've got to shoot on an ARRI or a RED, and you've got to have the top-notch lenses. Is it any of those things? I don't think so. I don't think it's any of those things. In my experience, I've sold 2 films now that I've written and produced. The most important creative consideration, if you want to sell a film, is sound. What I mean by that is anything related to sound, take it incredibly seriously. All audio in the film is captured cleanly and effectively so that it can be used in the final film. So that includes all dialogue, all ambient sounds, room tones, sound effects, anything that is shot on the day, you want to get it as clean as possible to limit the amount of time or energy and money that you need to put into ADR. Now, how do you get good sound on a set? You really need at least 2, arguably 3 people to do it. You need a sound mixer, you need a boom operator, and you need a utility manager. You can get away with 2 people where the sound mixer is also the boom operator, but he's got a helper in the utility manager, etc. But you need at least 2 people who on a daily basis, their whole focus is sound. Now I'm going to show you a scene that we just shot in Lake Jessup regarding the dialogue component of getting good dialogue cleanly and effectively on the day. In this particular scene, we were shooting at a location off a busy highway, and it was early morning, so there was a lot of traffic. There was cars, there were people honking, loud engines, trucks, planes were flying overhead. It was just a real challenge. And so it was really important. I was working as the director. You'll see a gentleman holding the boom. He's the boom operator, but he was also the sound mixer. He was kind of in charge of all sound on the day. His name's Harrison Thevenin. And he and I would be looking at each other as the actors did their dialogue. And he would look back to me as he's holding his boom, and he'd shake his head or he'd nod that we were okay, that the sound was clean enough. So I'd like to show you this film. And then when it wasn't clean enough, we would go back and we would make sure we would do that again when that outside noise was gone to make sure we got it cleanly. Take a look at that.
We're rolling.
So this is a scene from Lake Jessup. Since I knew the actors were strong, I was literally more focused on the sound mixer, Harrison, and his nod or his shaking his head, whether or not we were getting good, clean sound. And when he shook his head, as he did a lot in this scene, I would stop the scene, and this is what we did.
Okay, let's go back. Reset there, Craig. I will say this about Bubba Coggins.
Simply waiting for the noise to pass and asking the actor kindly to go back a few lines and to do it again allows us to get clean dialogue so we don't have to worry about getting these lines in ADR, which is an additional expense now we won't have. So those are some of my insights on sound. I just think if you want to make a film that you plan to sell, you plan to do something with, you have to take this area of the creative process incredibly seriously, because I feel like distributors are much more forgiving if, for example, a shot is out of focus or there's some other technical issues, but if sound from the second the film starts, if they feel like that wasn't a priority, if that wasn't prioritized by the filmmakers, in my experience, I don't think they go any further with the film, because it really takes the audience member out of the experience, and it makes it very clear to them that the filmmaker was not aware how important sound was to the overall experience of watching a feature film.